Hey guys, Dale here, back with another episode of Blueprints, back with our little shipbuilding crew and their little exploration cruiser from the Save Our Ship 2 mod. Today we're gonna take a swing at creating the Nova Class. So, Nova Class is still a pretty small ship. It is a little bit longer than a Defiant. It's probably not as wide as the Defiant. We're not going to be building it as wide as the Defiant. But you can see that there is a bit more of like a traditional saucer section. There's this like primary hull down here, the nacelle pylons connecting to the nacelles. I'm going to go ahead and shrink that image down. We'll like throw it up in the corner just so that we can see it and reference it as we need to, but let's go ahead and take a swing at this. So what is it? We're doing these at half scale. The Nova is, I think, about 220 meters long according to like Memory Alpha. So we'll start off with maybe like 100 meters or 110 meters actually. Oh, that's longer than I was thinking. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's do like 111. And then it looks like it is just a little bit, maybe more than half as wide as it is long. So that would put us at like 55 and a half. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll do like 59 maybe. That's probably all right. Okay, so we can grab that. We got our little square box. And we're going to boil this down into just a few different shapes. Let's go ahead and hit that halfway mark. So like 56, maybe a little bit more than halfway. Let's do like 59, just kind of like how we did the width of it. Let's go 59. And we're going to say that this is kind of where the tips of the nacelles are, and this is the end of the nacelles. This section up here, like we have the saucer section that if we look at it, it's not quite circular, right? It's a little bit more wedge shaped. And so if we say that there's like a little bit of neck area, maybe we do like 9 right there. And then we'll take maybe, sorry, this is what I just did. I counted 9 up from here and then I swiped it over. Maybe a quarter of this. So if we're at 45, we'll say like maybe about like 13-ish up. About there. So these little guidelines are going to help me make the saucer section. I think we're going to go for that more kind of like triangular shape up here. We'll go a little bit more hexagonal, so like less severe on kind of like the incline of those curves. We'll try and get the next section in here, and then we'll do the nacelles. I think the nacelles are probably the easiest thing to start with. I'm going to grab this, and we're going to use the nacelles as housing for the engine. So at a minimum, they need to be 5 wide. I think 5 by 3. And we're using the spinal engines. So we have a bunch of accelerators that we can attach to it. I think it's something like 2 of the fuel nodes supports up to, or sorry, 1 of the fuel nodes supports up to like 15 spinal sections. What if we did this at like 30? And then that would mean that we would have like the end piece for the spinal fuel. We would have the 2 middle pieces and then the starting piece. I think that gets us a pretty good start on our nacelles. We're not going to take this all the way to the back of the engines. We're going to put in like some curved pieces down there. And let's grab a guideline. Let's grab this, and that'll help us measure out how tall we want these nacelles to be. So right there is the end of the nacelle. If we look at this nacelle, we can see that it tapers up here. It's pretty fat here in the middle, and then it kind of tapers towards the back again, right? So let's close that up. Let's get these tapers put in. Maybe like there. And then we are just going to carve out this space. Let's make this one a bit longer because we can use those like longer edges. We'll do this. And what if we go 1, 2, 3 to kind of add like more of that fatness to it? Maybe about, let's do it just halfway down the engine. So 35. Let's go ahead and just do like 17 more. 19 is fine. So I don't want to do all that counting. I'm just gonna copy. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Okay, I think that is all right. Like, it's not gonna be perfect tapers. We know that the front of the nacelle, it's like has this is called like the Bussard collector, I think. So it's red. We can like fill that room with red lights, but we can also use the space for some laser weapons, which are going to be red. So we can put like a large one and then flank it with maybe 2 small ones. And then close that off, make it its own little room. And then we can put some of the coolant tanks in here. 11. Oh, not quite. If we make the engine a little bit smaller, we can fit more coolant tanks in there. Let's just like cut this and put it down here. Okay, and so something to be aware of is like they can't walk over the coolant tanks, so we can't have an entry in here. They won't be able to like walk through it. We could put an entry down here in the engine. They're able to walk over the engine stuff. They're also able to walk over the capacitor batteries. So we can just like fill this hallway with capacitors. We could even put one in there. And I think that's a good start for nacelles. We'll do some like tweaking with all this stuff. Let's go ahead and copy that, and this will give us like a good idea of what we're kind of working with here, right? So we know that the nacelles are going to be back here. We know that this needs to be the saucer section. So let's kind of like roughly start planning out what the saucer section is going to look like. I'm going to take these as just kind of like little guides and stick them over here. We know that the front of the saucer section, we can probably start with an ellipsis and then just kind of like make the angle a little bit more severe. If we drag this all the way down here, we get a pretty good wedge shape. I think that's probably good. I'm going to paste our guidelines over it so we know what to carve out. So we can pretty much like delete all of this. Maybe delete that as well. And then we'll use this down here with the hexagon to kind of get the back end of the hexagon down in this section, right? So maybe let's start here. And I think that's probably pretty good. Let's go ahead and delete this stuff and this stuff. And let's kind of like marry this into here. Okay. So it's not perfect. Like I think we're gonna probably be like carving more of this out to kind of like make this angle a little bit more wedge shaped. And what I like about the extended planning tool is that we can just do the work on one side and it will be sufficient because we can just like mirror it over to the other side. Ooh, that's a problem. 59, 20, 19. Oh. Oh, the game's not paused. Let's see. So half of 59 is like 25, 24. Sorry, 25 plus 4. So 29. Is this the midpoint? No, not quite. There is the midpoint. Okay, if we take a look at this front saucer section, there's like a little cutout. So there's like a little cutout and then the deflector dish. And the deflector dish has a bit of a curve to it. So let's kind of get that going. We can probably use that for spinal weapons, right? So we can put like a spinal weapon right at the front. The spinal laser kind of has a dish at the front of it, so we can kind of pretend like that is the deflector dish, even though it's a weapon. And we're going to carve out just a little bit more, maybe just like 5 right there. If we go to ship, if we go to spinal weapons, spinal laser, that kind of fits. It adds that little curve, and then there's still like some open segment outside of that curve. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Planning. There you are. Let's grab this and we will say that that will be our spinal weapon. Let's maybe add some depth to the capacitors for it. And then I think this piece is only 2 wide. So that gives us kind of this shape. Like we're okay where we are. I want to put a marker for the middle. I'm going to go ahead and hollow this out a little bit and let's mirror it. Okay, got that side hollowed out, and what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna delete pretty much all of this side. We can do that, and if we copy the plans and we hit X on our keyboard, that's the default shortcut for it, it'll mirror it. Now we just need to rotate it, and that way we don't have to like be ever cautious to like edit both sides. I think that's looking pretty good. I want to extend out like this back wedge. I think probably like that. Okay, just line this up. Let's copy these plans. And I think that's looking pretty all right. We said that we wanted kind of like that neck of the body to be right here. So I think we're landing that pretty well. The body itself, let's make some more guidelines here. And let's see. 41. Let's say we want the end of the ship to maybe be about right here. I think the end of the ship probably isn't going to be that wide. Maybe 7. Let's do 5. Then let's do 7 here. And then we need to connect up into here. I don't think. Yeah, that's pretty wide. I'm going to go ahead and make some guidelines, though, just so we kind of see what space we have working with. We also need to reserve some space for those pylon connections, right? So why don't we think about that? How far? Maybe like 9? Okay. Let's copy these plans, mirror them, stick them over there. And so this body could probably be about like that. And then maybe we start doing some longer sections up here to get it connected. Okay. And then if this is the end of the ship, could maybe do something like that to get that rounded piece. I feel like maybe we should do that because that end of the ship is like pretty thin. And then we can maybe just go up like 2 or 3 at a time. To get that connected. Okay, I'm digging it. Let me go ahead and copy, mirror, and rotate. Okay, I think that is coming along all right. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these lines here. If we look at the connection, here it feels like this is a bit sharper in the back than it is up front. So we're gonna maybe do something like just 2 up to get this angle. And then here, maybe we do something like 2, 3 over. Is that what I'm wanting? Actually, I feel like I want to flip those. I feel like this angle makes more sense for that back end, and this angle makes more sense for the front end. So let's go ahead and flip those around. Let's do it this way, though. Let's copy these plans. Like, a big part of my designing is like making a shape and then reusing that shape constantly. Let's copy these plans again. We're gonna reverse them. Okay. And we're gonna cut these plans and just line them up with the guidelines that we still have over on this side. And then we'll cut these plans and line them up. I think right there. I think that's pretty good. I want to get rid of these guidelines just so that it's less messy. But we're gonna make some lines over this way so we can line this up. So let's delete all this. Let's copy this, and then we'll mirror it. And I think we're pretty good. Actually, something's a little off. I feel like on this side we're a little off. Like I did not copy very well. So I'm gonna just make sure that we're symmetrical. Okay, that is feeling better. I'm not super happy about this angle up here. Do we just maybe continue this into there? I think I'm digging it. I think I'm digging it. This is looking all right. I think up here, maybe we do that and that. Okay. I think that's a good start for the silhouette. Let me take a few minutes and I'm just going to start kind of like filling it in with rooms and different facilities. Okay, I've been tweaking the spinal weapon a little bit. We kind of moved it forward. We created the bridge, which is it's going to be a little bit rounded. We'll have like a view screen, the helm, tactical, science, some more science stations since this is like a science vessel, and communications back here, a little seat for our commander and captain. And yeah, so these are going to be capacitors, and these will be more large lasers. What I want to kind of do is square some of this shape out a little bit. So I'm just going to take, actually, is this the right 12? That is right. Let's do rectangle. 12? No, you are a little long. Okay, so we can walk over batteries or these capacitors. We can't walk over the um, weapons. So I'm just gonna put access points right here in the middle of each of these weapons, right? That's supposed to be one weapon. There's a door right there. And being lazy and just copying and pasting so they can walk over these capacitors if we need to do repairs to these engines. Let's go ahead and continue to square this out so that we can make some all right shaped rooms. I'm thinking that this will be the sick bay. I don't know if I necessarily want it attached to the bridge. So let's put like a little 2-space corridor there. Actually, we need to drag that down a little bit more since we took the wall with it. And that lines up really well. So we can do corridors there and there. Let's clear these out. We'll say there's a corridor here. We can drag this all the way to the back and drag this forward. Okay, so that gives us some long corridors up and down the ship that we can work with. I'm thinking we need to find the midpoint of the ship again so that we can go ahead and figure out where we're putting the shields. I think the midpoint was actually like right here, right? I think we put the nacelle tips right close to the midpoint. Reminder, this is 111, so what, like 56 should be the midpoint? 56 is actually a little bit lower. Okay, so we can get rid of these lines. We can get rid of this. I'm just gonna put like a little marker down for the shields. Let's do this color. So I think we put like main engineering right here. What if we put just a couple reactors right up against the shield generator? Okay, I've been thickening up some of the hull. I copied and pasted so that the sides would match, and then I made the bridge a little bit shorter. I think what we're going to do is we're going to move sickbay up just a smidge, and I want to move this whole corridor up just a little bit. I want a way for us to get in to the ship, so like an airlock, right? What if we stick that like right here? And okay, so what does that look like? Makes that corridor a little wonky. I think that's fine though. We can probably open this up a little bit and get rid of that. So pretty drastic. We're gonna just like delete a bunch of this stuff over here, and we will copy from here to the midline, and we will stick this right back in. Okay, so we have some of these funky shaped rooms. What if we make another corridor up here? How exactly do we want this to be? We could do this, and then have this just be a little bit angled. And that gets us up into there. I want the captain's quarters to be like pretty far forward. So I'm thinking, actually, why don't we line this back up here? And what if we did like our little lower deck style hallway beds right in here, just like we did kind of on the Defiant. And then this will be an entry into maybe like a seating area for the captain, and then their actual bedroom. And we can copy this to be on this side as well. So captain's bed right there, maybe a little dresser right here. And then we can do like maybe like a little seating or personal dining area for the captain. We will do the first officer's quarters kind of the same. And then we'll figure out some other crew quarters in here as well. The other thing that we need to think about is like heat capacity. So we do have coolant tanks planned out. I think we'll fill the pylon, the nacelle pylon, up with heat sinks, and then maybe some of this like in between space as well. So let me kind of start turning these blocks that we've made into actual rooms. Okay, I think I'm done filling it out, and pretty much what I did was I just kind of like filled out one side and I copied and pasted it to the other side. So we're gonna have like captain and first officer's quarters. They're like little private dining areas. We'll actually stick some replicators in here for them. Some lower deck style hallway crew quarters, you know, some batteries as well as heat venting in these areas. We have senior officer quarters. We have like 6 of them. We stuck in some more hallway bunks down here in this corridor, but we have this will be the mess hall with a couple of replicators, a couple of oh my gosh, holodecks. This will be their recreation facility. No general purpose for these rooms yet, but we can decide what we do with them. Also up here we have like our science lab, so a couple research benches, multi-analyzer, the bridge, and then over here in the dark purple is storage, the dark green is workbenches and some seats. So this will be some production facilities. Potentially, you know, we might need more production facilities. Down here is main engineering with 3 reactors, computer core, hull foam distribution, stealth generator, all that fun stuff. In the pylons, we have more heat distribution as well as batteries, and then we'll put sensors in one and life support in the other. This kind of long, awkward shaped room will be cargo bay 1, cargo bay 2. We've turned into hydroponics, so we'll put down some hydroponics down in this area. And then back here we have the shuttle and salvage bay along with some more batteries. I'm not quite sure what the ratio to batteries and all that other stuff is. I haven't played Saber Ship 2 in forever. I've just been kind of like building some ships, but let's go ahead and let's get our plans down. We'll move our crew in and we'll take this guy out for a little spin. Okay, we're back and we have a ship encounter. Now, this guy is like, it just doesn't feel as beefy as the Defiant. We had so much space dedicated to capacitors and to heating and cooling, and we definitely just have part of that. So if we look at our ship stats here, we have 59,000 heating capacity. I think that might be like 20 or 30 less than the Defiant. We're not as fast as the Defiant. Our combat rating is, I don't know, like 300 points lower. So we're definitely not as strong. I did want to take a look at this. This is the Replimat computer. There is a Replimat mod, and this is the Replimat hopper. Basically, they put nutrition in here, and it gets zapped into these Replimat feedstock tanks, and that's what powers our Replimat terminals or replicators. And the food that they can replicate is based off of the food policy that they have. So right now they can replicate any fine food. Let's take a look at this ship. It does not look too beefy. It does have a spinal laser, and then it just has a bunch of smaller laser turrets. So like gun-wise, I think we outgun it. I don't see its heat capacity, so I'm not sure how well our shields will hold up, but we will find out. Let's go ahead and advance, and then let's select our weapons. We will have them focus the spinal laser because I think that's our biggest threat. And there we go. Our shields, I did have to make some adjustments to engineering. So our shields are a little lower than they were before to get them to cover these nacelles. The ship is so much longer than the Defiant. And it looks like these two hull pieces might be outside the shield. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, their heat capacity is way lower than ours. So hopefully their guns will not drop our shields. So their shields went down immediately. We took out their spinal laser. Our heat capacity, we're venting it pretty well. So we haven't defeated the ship yet. Let's grab our guns again. Let's set it to maintain our distance and then select guns. Let's have it go towards the bridge, which I'm betting it's either right here or right here. This looks like it might be a computer core. Okay, they did not get through our shields, and it did. Okay, so they did take out our spinal capacitor. How did that happen? It's all within our shields. Maybe our shields dropped for a moment. What's power looking like? Power is okay. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen here. Okay, you guys actually should just like chill on the bridge in case we have lasers get through again. Our lasers can fire pretty soon. Okay, small ones just went at it. Okay, there are big ones. Okay, yeah, they have like no heat capacity, or they're struggling with it, right? You can see that their heat capacity is diminishing. Okay, our ships just fired again. Okay, they're still able to fire. Oh, you know what? It's because it's like right on the edge of our shields. There's like explosions happening on the shields. Okay. So that might be an adjustment that we would want to make, is maybe we put another shield generator up here somewhere. If we look at ship and shield generator, miniature shield generator, not quite it. So I guess we would want another full-size shield generator, maybe towards the front, and then we might be able to reconfigure engineering again. What if we stuck one back here and then like one right in front of the bridge? We'd need to move the bridge back. It's fine because we have some space to play with there. Okay, let's finish this ship off. Okay, ship battle 1. We're gonna go ahead and where's the world map? We will find us. We will abandon the shipwreck because that's fine. And I'm gonna make some adjustments to our shield configuration. Okay, and so here's what our final shield configuration looks like. We have one that's set a little bit smaller, but gives us some buffer room for those explosions that are happening against the shields. And then we've set the one in engineering back just a little bit. So, I think this causes a little bit of a problem in that we like can't get to both sides of main engineering from the other side. I don't think we can walk over these engines. Oh, we can walk over the engines. Interesting. That's good to know. Okay. But since we grabbed this spot behind the bridge and took a little bit of our sick bay, I wanted them to have like a throughway in the saucer section back here, so they're able to get to from one side to the other. I think I would like another light, maybe like right there. And yeah, I think this is it. We have our science lab. I moved communications in here because we needed to move the computer core into the bridge so that we could have space for our replicator stuff down here. Cargo Bay 2 functioning as hydroponics. Cargo Bay 1 is loaded up with basically us disassembling the starter ship. The nacelles, I think are shaped pretty well. I have these originally pulled further back. It just looked so weird being super skinny back here for so long. So I went ahead and extended those out. Um, Recreation is right here. We also have some holodecks. They have been using the replicators, which has been pretty cool. What else is going on? I don't think we changed much. We do have like a little production facility up here. And I see a tile that we're missing. So let's just like fix that real quick. We will paint it. And we will call it good. I think I did want to show you guys, just for like comparison's sake, planning. So we have our Nova class. Let's load that. So Nova class, half scale. Okay. Oh, actually, it's right there. I also wanted to load the Defiant class half scale. And so, yeah, Defiant's a little bit wider, and it is a little bit shorter. So I think we are on the path. I started kind of messing around with what the Intrepid class would look like as half scale as well. And so you can see the Nova class is about 2/3 the length of it, and that feels like accurate to the show. There's that scene where Voyager's like hovering over it to extend its shields, and I feel like that feels right. I'm digging the nacelles here. The saucer section needs some work, but you know, we'll work on that next episode. Okay, I'll get the blueprints and the extended planning plans as well as the save all up on GitHub, and I'll put the links in the description. Thanks again for hanging out with me for this next episode of Blueprints. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.